first and second wave of digital disruption. That sounds pretty complicated, and that's why I have an expert here to explain it to me. Thales Teixeira is a professor at Harvard Business School. Thales, maybe you can give us a short example of what digital disruption really means.
Well, digital disruption is just a term to talk about how companies that are fundamentally digital, meaning most of them are using the web or mobile phones, to disrupt, which is essentially to capture a huge amount of customers from traditional companies, which we call the incumbents, right? So disruption is essentially a technology or a business model that allows small startups to quickly steal many customers from incumbents.
So, and you are dividing between the first and the second wave of digital disruption. What's the difference between them?
So the first wave happened in the late 90s and up until the mid-2000s, in which with the internet, most of the companies that started selling services online were actually selling media. We're actually selling products that are digitalizable, right? So content, movies, songs, news, ads. And these companies, in effect, most of them, what they did that was disruptive is they unbundled content that was sold offline. So think about CDs that had 15 tracks. Now the digital versions would be able to sell one track online. So think about newspapers that had 500 news articles in one newspaper. Now you could have access to one of them. So that was unbundling. The second wave happens not just for digital products, but it happens for traditional products as well, physical products. And the term that I use is decoupling, which is a separation of activities that jointly we're doing together, we're being consumed together. So think about going to shop for television on the store, and there's two activities involved. One is looking for different television models and choosing the one that you most like, and then the other one is buying that option that you chose. So with digital decoupling, there is one company that can provide you the televisions that you can choose from, and then there's another one, not the one that is providing you the options, there's another one that is selling. So Amazon can sell a television to you while you choose a television in a physical store, the process that we call showrooming.
Okay, so unbundling is for digital products, and decoupling is also for products that we have, like in real life, what we can touch. So now you talked about showrooming. What can the stores do? I mean, that's not really good for their business model.
So the problem with showrooming is that a store, a physical store, has to put the inventory and the people there and has an incurred amount of cost. And if you go there and you choose a television and you use the store to find the one that you want, and you use employees to get information, and then you buy it on Amazon, obviously there's a problem for the store. There's actually only two solutions to that problem, in effect, two conceptual solutions. And since the problem is decoupling, what I called one of the solutions is recoupling. And the first solution is basically forcing, to some extent, if customers go to your store and use your employees and look at the TVs, then recoupling means forcing them to, if they do that, they have to buy or they have to pay something. And so that seems like a very extreme version, but there's actually some retail companies in Australia that charge a just for looking fee, like $5 if you come to the store and you don't buy anything. I wouldn't advocate that, but there's companies in the US that charge a membership. If you want to go there and to the store and access all of the products, you're going to have to buy a yearly membership. That's recoupling, basically forcing the two activities of shopping and buying to be together. The second example of what they can do, and one which I advocate more, is called rebalancing. And rebalancing means every activity that you provide that adds value to the customer, you need to capture some of this value. So if there is shopping and buying the TV, you need to think about how to create and capture value in these two cases. So if people are benefiting from shopping in your store, you need to be able to make money out of that. How can you do that? For example, if charging manufacturers. If Samsung is selling the TVs, you should charge Samsung to place your TVs there. And obviously, if they decide to buy the television consumers, then you're clearly making money on margins. But retail stores can make money on manufacturers as well as on consumers, and that would solve the issue.
I guess Best Buy is already doing that, charging manufacturers for a place in their stores. There's also a thing, many small shops are doing initiatives for like getting the consumer to realize that small shops are important and stuff like that. Do you think this is a strategy that can also work? Because I mean, charging manufacturers is maybe something for big chains, but not something for small stores.
Yeah, so that's I think that's the issue with smaller stores, that they can't charge manufacturers for the real estate that they have. But what they can do is they can make money in other formats, right? Retail stores have a lot of visual elements that they can sell to other local stores, right? So you can go to a small retail store and it could be advertised another small retail store or a small merchant. So the important is that there is attention that these small stores can get, and this attention has value, and they should think about where they can sell this attention to. Which companies would be willing to pay for the attention through merchandising, through displays, through other selling of other services associated with the products.
Do you personally have an opinion on digital disruption? I mean, you're not really saying something about you like it or not. Do you think people can have a negative opinion about digital disruption, or it is just something that's going to happen anyways?
I think that, first of all, whether I like it or dislike it, I think that only matters to me. Anybody can have an opinion. The most important thing is it is happening. And historically, we haven't seen things go back in time. History moves forward, and if this has come to stay, I don't think it's going to go backwards. There's a lot of benefit to be gained, and a lot of different people and a lot of different companies are finding innovative ways to build businesses, and so it's here to stay. It's just something that we need to adapt to, and there's going to be good sides and downsides, but the point is that we need all to adapt to sort of the new laws of digital disruption and the new laws of digital competitiveness, meaning one company in one industry like Google is competing actually with many other industries as far as sort of car manufacturers, media companies, restaurants, and so on and so forth in many other countries. So I could clearly see a future in which the scope of competition is much broader.
Is there any industry that's safe from digital disruption?
Well, digital disruption has the fundamental aspect that is consumers moving attention online. If consumers, if a specific industry does not have this characteristic, if consumers are not going online for a specific industry, then probably at this point in time, certain industries are safe. I find it hard to identify an example in which consumers are not going online for the information or for access to something. But there could be examples that consumers still prefer to go offline for dinner dates. And so maybe sort of restaurants are a little bit, small restaurants, local restaurants are a little bit more sort of immune to this, but it might change.
Okay, so real immunity against digital disruption is not really the case. Thank you very much for this talk.